Focus. I am a little late this morning, but had some wonderful brainstorming and vision casting and problem solving meetings that part of leadership, part of fun, part of keeping things on track and keeping our focus. And preached yesterday morning on being committed to Christ and what does committed to Christ look like and how committed are we? And boy, we need to keep our focus on the gospel of Christ and the program of God and be absolutely committed to those things. There are so many distractions in the world, so many things that can get us off track. And but ultimately, we are to live committed to Christ and committed to the gospel, committed to the program of God and the designs of God, and participating as God directs us and gives us opportunity. Well, in John chapter 5, we're going to look at the pool of Bethesda, and there's an interesting dynamic in this story, and that is that there was an amazing miracle that took place as the waters begin to move, that the first person in would be healed. And the way my mind works, I'm immediately looking at that going, wow, what a competition. What a competition has been created just in the way that this plays out. I mean, if I'm blind and my friend is deaf and another friend is lame and another friend has a blood disease, and we know that when the waters move, the first person in gets healed, the rest of them do not. So Jesus comes along, and here's a man that is not able to walk, and Jesus says, have you gotten in the pool? He goes, how can I? He said, the waters begin to move, but it takes me so long. I have nobody to help me. And before I can get in, somebody else gets in and they get healed and I don't get healed. And Jesus says to him, wilt thou be made whole, in verse number 6. And the impotent man answered him, sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool, but while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. Jesus saith unto him, rise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. On the same day was the Sabbath. And the religious leaders of the day that were absolutely concerned that people would follow after Christ and not follow them, that they would put their loyalties to Christ and not to them. And they begin to compete, and they're like, who is this guy who is healing on the Sabbath day of all things? I mean, think of it. What worse could be done than somebody heal somebody miraculously on the Sabbath day of all days, of all things, right? So, I mean, we're just thinking of the absolute hypocrisy and stupidity, really, of their anger. But it often reminds us that the things that people are saying is the problem. The problem that they say they're trying to solve is oftentimes not really what's going on. There is an underlying agenda. There is an underlying motivation of what they really want or what they're really battling, but they put this facade out as to, this is what I'm really bothered by. This is what I'm really trying to solve, but it's not that at all. It's rooted in something much deeper. And that's what happened, is that they come to this man, they say, who healed you? He's like, I have no idea. But then later when he's in the temple, Jesus came up to him and says to him, by the way, go and sin no more, or else something worse will come upon you. He says that in verse number 14. Afterwards, Jesus findeth him in the temple and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon thee. And the man departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus, which had made him whole. And I think as the story unfolds, these people then begin to conspire against killing Jesus for healing this man on the Sabbath day. And it's a very interesting thing when Jesus answered them in verse number 17, my Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Jesus is saying, listen, I am absolutely committed to the work that my Father gave me to do. I am absolutely committed to the cause that I am here to solve. I am absolutely here to fulfill the work that I am here to accomplish. And so I think we learn in this story a lot of things, whether it's the power of God that can heal even through the troubling of the pool of Bethesda, whether there is the ability of God to heal somebody apart from a separate program and to just say, rise, take up thy bed and walk, to understanding that Jesus said, by the way, it's way more important for you to be able to function spiritually healthy than for you to be physically healthy. So go and sin no more. Realize there is a bigger picture here on the spiritual side than even that has been done to you on the physical side. To the anger of people who thwart the program of God, who undermine the person of Christ, who want to deflect attention from what's most important to private agendas that they want to do, to Jesus bringing it all back, saying, listen, it is about what God wants. It is about what God says. It is about the program of God. And because he is working his program and I am privileged to participate, I work. And so as we look at this story, the Pool of Bethesda, let's just remember this. We are privileged to participate in God's program, and he is at work. And because he's at work, we work. So let's make it a priority this week to work. Let's do our part as we participate in God's program so God can be glorified in all of the power that he gives and displays in the work that is being done. God bless you. I hope to see you tomorrow.